It's Mouse and
Hi.
Weens, up close and personal. Once
Mhm.
again, Weenie, how are you? Well, first, I'm Mouse. I'm Joelle. I'm the mom, wife one down in San Diego.
I'm Jules, Julianne, also known as Weens in LA.
Do you hate your nickname?
Well, someone just started talking about it today and they were like, Wiener? Well, I hope they do call you Weens.
I
It does, it's
know.
a little much.
All right. Well, we could call you sausage instead.
No, I
Hot
don't eat
dog,
meat. I don't like it. No,
peenie,
Weens is
mouse and
fine because
peens. Coming
mouse
at you
and
live.
beans, mouse and beans. It reminds me of the band Ween, so we're okay. Cheese and chocolate.
Okay, good. I don't know what you're doing. And we're on Zoom right now. You guys can go see us on YouTube. Julianne's mouth is moving and no words are coming out. It's not synced with the audio and the video. It's really exciting. This will be a fun edit. But anyway, today we have a fun, special couple guests for you guys to listen to. We are going to do a deep dive into psychics and hypnotism and mentalism. And we're going to talk to our dear and lovely Uncle Jim. He is the brother of our dear and departed father. And we're also going to talk to our mom, who has not departed, but she will call in from Idaho. So you get to see those. Weens, any other setup?
That's it. I love everyone who's listening. And there are some people that I just want to give an ear hug to. And that's you who's listening right now. I know who you are.
Yay. Yeah. And also, we had our road rage episode last time around. And I wanted to give two shout outs we have Tony Gleason, who wrote in a funny story about a woman who followed him through a parking lot also and was hanging out of her window and throwing stuff out of her car, trying to hit him in his car as he was driving by
Wow.
slowly. So some crazy road rage. And Keith Gala of Pop-Up Filmcast, he had another road rage story. So we appreciate hearing from you guys and getting the feedback. So knowing that we're all in this big podcast boat together. So it's so nice. So thank you guys. And let's hear a quick word from our great sponsor at Dream Dinners. You guys, please try Dream Dinners for real. For real. I've convinced quite a few people and they dig it. And they're like, I wish I'd started sooner. So, okay, let's hear our ad for Dream Dinners and then we're going to jump right into our interview. All right.
Bye.
Bye. Okay. It's Uncle Jim. Woohoo.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing well.
Yay. And Julianne, do we have you yet? We're having some technical difficulties. Maybe not. Okay. Well, Jim, you and I can talk a little bit until Julianne figures it out. But thank you for coming on. We wanted to talk about psychic stuff today.
Sure.
And Julianne brought up the fact that we should be talking to Uncle Jim. He is a mentalist, as we have seen at her birthday party and everything. But give us your take on mentalism. What is mentalism? How does it work in the psychic world? Any of this?
Mentalism is unlike, let's say, magic is the main distinction. Mentalism focuses on effects that have to do primarily with the mind. And I'll give you some quick examples. I want to up front say this first.
You might have to do it without me if I freeze.
Oh, here she is a little bit.
Is she there? All right.
Kinda.
Hi, Julianne.
She just looks like a washed out.
Oh, now there she's moving.
Oh, good. Now she's moving.
Hi,
Jim.
Oh, Julianne, you hear me?
It's so bad, Julianne. You might just want to be the silent partner today.
All right. Well, anyway, to continue.
I'm trying to get Debbie.
Don't worry, Jules. You're glitching so bad.
Anyway, mentalism, again, as opposed to magic, has to do with effects that have primarily, their premise is mental. And I'll give you just, I want to again preface this by saying that what I do as a mentalist is for purely entertainment purposes. Okay. Very important to distinguish that from somebody like a psychic who, in many cases, is getting paid to apparently, and I say apparently with some emphasis, reveal things to you
Right.
about relationships and any number of life issues. So I might, as a mentalist, for example, I might offer you a choice of a couple of books. You flip through to a page, you pick a word on that page, you're in the audience. I then try and see, mentally determine what that word is, and then I will name that word. And it is, in fact, the word that you're looking at.
It's wild. You did that one to me
So,
at Julianne's birthday
no,
party and
yes.
blew my mind. And for all
Yeah.
intents and purposes, it's magic. You can read minds. But
Okay.
so you're saying there's kind of a science behind it, or is it a
What I'm
gift that you
saying
have?
is the farthest that I'm going to go to say that I'm going to go is to say it is a form of entertainment. Okay.
Okay.
Because every effort is made to project a mental sort of ending to it. Another thing I do, I will have somebody, you saw this too, yeah, when I did this for Julianne's birthday, where I tried to tap into the psychic energy of everybody in the room, and they focus all of their energy on you, for example, or in Julianne's case, and Julianne, who's holding the picture.
Oh.
You focus, and Julianne's hand begins to feel warm. And suddenly this picture, which is a real glass picture, as Julianne can attest to, shatters. And it actually, it's in a plastic sort of protective container. Number one, to show that there are no outside influences on it. And number two, of course, to protect your Julianne. So that's one of the types of things I do. So they all have, again, the premise is on a mental effect, determining. You look at a word, you look at a number, you look at a card, and being able to determine that. I'm looking quickly over at my case here where I keep some of my effects. And I'll have somebody might. But go ahead.
There's are you a mind reader? Can you hear people's thoughts? Or you're just kind of,
he can't give away his secret.
I know.
I'm going to say that I will give you every impression that I am reading your mind.
Yes.
Okay.
I believed it. I was hook, line, and sinker.
And again, with the emphasis on, yes, I want you to believe. Yeah. Absolutely. And I make it such in my presentation that you believe that, in fact, I am reading your mind. I may have you jot a name of somebody you're very close to on a card. Probably did this for that show as well. Just a small business card on one side, and just have you fold it. I feel it attempting, as I tell the audience, to try and get a sense of who this person is you're talking about. I then tear it up. Small pieces. I put those in your hand. You close your hand. Then I begin to get an impression. I have you pretend, for example, that you're walking down the street. You get to the corner, and when you get to the corner on the other side of the street, you see this person. Their back is slightly turned. They don't see you, but you recognize them immediately. And so when you slowly walk up to them and gently put your hand on their shoulder, and you say, "It's so wonderful to see you again, Susan," or whatever it might be. Mm-hmm. And in fact, it's a person that you're thinking of. Okay. So these are all, again, mentally oriented things. And it is my job to absolutely make you believe that
we do. How long did it take you to
wait,
learn all these?
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, you're good.
Yes.
Jim, can we work for 2 seconds to try to get your video up? Do you really have to go in 10 minutes? Like 10 minutes from now?
No, I've got a few minutes here, but how do I get my video up? I hit, here's recording. I've got up in the left, meeting information.
Joe, what do you think it is that's stopping him? Where would it be?
I think he has to go to his computer. Are you on a computer, Jim?
I am on a computer.
Okay. Are you Windows? Is it a PC?
I am, no, Mac. I've got a Zoom, a US, but I don't want to throw off what you put together. Should I try to turn on the Zoom?
Yeah. Well, go up at the very, very top bar, zoom.us, where you're talking about, and then into preferences.
Okay.
Yeah, you know Max, Jules. I think it might be a camera permissions thing, right?
Oh, now I really see. Now I screwed it up. Now I'm just join the conversation. Oh, we're back. I'm not touching it again.
Okay,
We're
forget
back
it.
now.
Forget it.
You know, I can tell you who you're thinking of, but
I can't
clearly
figure out this camera.
has exceeded my mental capacities. Yes.
Don't worry about it.
All right.
Too
Okay.
crazy. What is the background of your mentalism training? When did you get into it? How long have you been doing it?
Yes, I've been
Yeah.
doing it for probably 15 years or so. It's not my regular occupation, but I took it up as something that I just found very enjoyable. I sort of moved often. There's a movement from you start with sort of magic and you like those kinds of things, and you're just vanishing coins and things. Well, the reason I moved into mentalism, found it fascinating simply because there is a mental aspect to it, and it very much involves interaction with the audience. It's not you sit there, I'm going to show you something, see the coin vanishes. It's more you have the books in your hand and you have a choice, and you pick the one, you go turn to a random page, you pick a word. I try to figure out what that word is, and usually am successful in doing that. So it's the audience interaction that I love about it.
Yeah.
Can I tell you what people are talking about a year after my birthday party? Jim Eggold.
Wonderful.
They're still fascinated.
2 years.
Here's why I like it too, because it does make us all think a bit about, we've got our 5 primary senses, but it does make us kind of think about the things like intuition. For example, everybody's probably had the experience where you're thinking that somebody's going to call you on the telephone.
Mm-hmm.
It comes out of nowhere. You're not expecting this call. And then suddenly the phone rings, and it is in fact that person that you were just thinking of. I've had this happen with my daughter many times. She says, "Oh God, Dad, you can't believe it. I was just thinking of you, when you make the call." So, I mean, I think there are things that occur in our lives that are outside the realm of our basic 5 senses. And it's a matter of kind of looking for them. Carl Jung had a term for it, and I'm sorry, now it's escaping me at the moment.
Collective unconscious.
Well, it was like that. It's a one word though, but anyway, it's okay. But it's where a supposed coincidence is very tied to reality, kind of what happens. It's like more. Is
that synchronicity?
Yeah, synchronicity. Thank you. It's more than sort of a coincidence, at least to us. Now that, of course, is difficult to sort of scientifically prove, but we look at it. I had a friend, a woman, daughter going off to college. She said, "Be very careful. Be very careful driving. Be very careful." She just kept telling her. Turns out this girl had a minor accident when she went to college. Called her mom. She was unharmed, but she called her mom and she said, "Mom, you knew that something like this was going to happen, didn't you?" She said, "I can't tell you why." She said, "But I just had a very strong feeling that you were going to be in some sort of automobile incident." And so I think there are these things, particularly between people that are very close, family members and all, that it's like you finishing your boyfriend or husband's sentence, and that kind of, there's a integration there of almost 2 minds working like that. So yeah, so I believe in those types of things. Do I believe in psychics though? If you want to get into that, I do not believe in psychics, and then of course you'll find many individuals out there who will say no, it's absolutely a fact. And what psychics do if you want to make it quite general, is they go through a process called cold reading. And anybody who's listening to this is welcome to Google it. What does cold reading exist of? It's me looking at you. It's looking at your hairstyle. It's looking at your kind of emotions or your emotive response to things, looking at how you're dressed. And those are very obvious. But I'm going to give you a very obvious example.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to be a psychic and you come to me. And I happen to notice that and this is a very simplistic example. And they get more sophisticated than this, of course. But I notice you're not wearing a wedding ring. Okay. So that's just something that I've noticed. And I've just glanced at. I say, I believe that you are looking hard for a relationship right now. And they go, oh my God, how did you know?
Mm-hmm.
I'm thinking, but simple like that, they see a gentleman who's has calluses all over his hands and say, no, I don't see you as, you're not in an executive position. I see you more working with your hands, doing something manual with your hand. And they go, oh my God, how did you know that? Yeah, I work as a, fill in the blank. And so those are very obvious examples. Second thing that happens is people, and I don't want to simplify because a really good psychic is kind of adept at, two things happen. One, you start volunteering information to me in a way that you're kind of unaware of. It's sort of just conversational. And yet then this psychic, quote unquote, will pick up on that and then start to offer more information, feedback based on what you have shared with them. And then again, it just becomes this loop where they just keep, oh yeah, my God, and my son is whatever. And then, it just sort of continues that way. Now, the cold reading can be very, very more, what's the word, sophisticated than I've described, but that's the essential nature of it. So it's they're getting feedback from you, and they in turn are now making, and often quite vague. They will do things that are quite vague in the hopes that they've hit on something, but then they hope that you sort of fill it in so they can go further. And again, you get this loop.
Mm-hmm.
I'm telling you, I think that they related psychics to poker players too. Like you just start to kind of, they call them poker tells, and you'll look to see just read real subtle emotions.
That's exactly right. That's right. They're looking for tells in what you have to say. Now, a second aspect to psychics today is that you will see individuals, I won't name names, but there is one who would give talks on television for do groups.
John Edwards, Long Island medium.
I don't want to reveal any names here. Get caught in a precarious position legally, but whereby, look at, my God, you look at Facebook, Snapchat, Instagram, look at every social media platform. You can find out more about a person on these platforms than the person could possibly tell you in a short period of time. Right. So there's some of these that are commercially well-known mediums, and what they will do is actually have a staff that will comb through, maybe they're going to be on a show, and they get the names of the people who are going to be attending.
And I said John Edwards only because I think he got in trouble for that, where it was he actually got caught, I believe.
Yeah.
Am I right?
Yeah.
We'll look at that later, but
yeah, well, look at it. He may have. I'm not certain of that, but you could in fact be correct. So anyway, there are a number of sources where you could, somebody will come up and they'll name a nickname for your husband or something, which is pretty remote if you're not aware of this, and they just walk up to you and you're talking and say, I'm getting an individual. This is a younger individual. I'm going to say 16, 17, and they're one or the other. I think and name is it sounds like a nickname. It's, Blaze or something. And the people sitting there just, flip out. They go, my God, how can you know not just that, but the name, but
Mm-hmm.
flip out.
But little details. What about the little details that no one else could know that you think they just got lucky with?
Like I'm carrying my grandma's locket in my pocket right now. And
there are going to be ways that they have either discerned from what you have stated or through other methods prior to meeting with you. Now, if you just walk into a psychic's, people say psychic on the door and you walk in and you start talking. Again, the cold reading, this loop I discussed where they will start out the conversation again, looking at your emotive responses, what you're wearing, how you're dressed, what type of your hair, something that they'll form sort of this subtle impression. Again, simplistic but true. They look for a ring, look for what do your hands look like, and those are again simple, but they get very good at sort of picking out more subtle things about you. And then their job is to sort of give you a vague opening, which you then start to fill in yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Now, can I ask you?
Yeah.
I found the most fascinating thing that you said was that you do believe hypnotism is real. Can you talk about
hypnosis?
That at all? Hypnosis, yes. I'm sorry.
Yes, hypnosis is real. And anybody who would like to just I don't try to convince people of that, but I've done some hypnotism myself, taken some courses, a number of courses in it.
Like from the world famous guy, though, you got to give yourself credit. You've really, you went to London.
This particular individual would do what we call corporate shows. And then to describe the points, he would talk about how the subconscious mind really can define how well we do. In other words, our own self-image, which is in the subconscious mind, which is maybe one thing. Out on the outward, you might say, I'm very successful, I'm going to do this. On the inside, you may be saying your subconscious mind. You may have had parents who told you that you weren't going to amount to anything. These things get embedded in the subconscious mind. And so they become limitations to what you can actually do. So when you're able to work with yourself with like a self-hypnosis type of thing, which you can do. But anyway, is it real? Yes. And I invite anybody there who's listening to go to, if they want to sort of see more information on it, go to Stanford has done a number of studies on it. There are specific brain waves associated with. We're in hypnosis, actually, all of us, twice a day, at least. Once right before we wake up, once right before we go to sleep. It's that kind of twilight sort of area. But we are also in hypnosis. Some guys have estimated up to 70% of our days can be spent in a hypnotic type of trance. And I'll give you just one example. And most people can relate to this. If you've ever been in your car and you're on the highway and you drive 10, 15 miles, and you suddenly realize you don't recall any of that because you were focused on something else. And you may have very likely missed your exit. I mean, how many times have you done that? You go by your exit and you go, damn it, I missed
all the time. Yeah.
I missed my exit. And of course, the common term for that is highway hypnosis. But very often we are, or if you're in an office setting and you got a group of people around, and take some time to look around at all the people. You're going to find people working. Then you're going to find people, I don't know if you can see me on this or not, but who are just sort of looking off, into space kind of. And they are so entranced in something. They're actually in a mild hypnotic trance. They're sort of unaware in a sense of what is literally going on around them at the moment.
Wow.
So Jim, when you see people on the stage,
you come home, you watch a television, you're watching a movie, and you're emotional, and you're crying. And now your rational mind would say, no, this is just a technology box. These are actors. This isn't, and yet it draws in our subconscious mind will draw out emotions. Or you try to get somebody to sitting there, your kid, you go, hey, Johnny. And Johnny's just like focused. Johnny.
Yeah.
And maybe the third time.
It was
Johnny
like Uncle
steps-
Mark. We called him Tuber because he would tube out watching TV. Right?
Right.
My kids are like that. Dave's like that. Just TV's on and they're gone.
Yeah, and you just zone out. But that is just, that would be an example of being in sort of a hypnotic trance.
Got it.
And
So when the people have come to places like colleges and they put people up on the stage and they do
Yes.
hypnosis, that is real.
it's real. Yes, it is.
And who's
Wow.
susceptible to it?
That's an interesting question. It's a very good question. Hypnosis follows your susceptibility, in a sense, to being hypnotized, follows what most of you know as the bell curve. And so on one, most of us are probably in the middle of that. We can all be hypnotized, but it might take a while longer. But for a stage performance, of course, you want to get things going as fast as you can. So you look for the best. At one end of the bell curve, there's probably about 10% that will go into a hypnotic trance fairly rapidly. And so those are the ones that you want to work on. We have things called suggestibility tests. They're experiments with the mind that can allow us to, using your imagination, if you're very creative and focused and use your imagination well, you may be one of those people who's more easily. Like there's something that we could do even right now if you want to do it real quick.
Oh,
Okay.
Yeah.
okay.
All right. This is just what we call. This will be an experiment of your imagination. Okay. I want you to put your hands out straight in front of you. All right. Arms out straight with your palms facing each other and about, let's say about 8 inches apart. Okay. Palms facing each other, arms straight. Now we're going to start with 3 deep breaths. Okay. Deep breath in and exhale slowly. Second deep breath in and exhale slowly. And a third deep breath in. And this time, as you exhale, if you haven't already, close your eyes and keep them closed. Now it's time to use your imagination. I want you to imagine for a moment that there's a magnet on the palm of your right hand and a magnet on the palm of your left hand. And as you can view this, I want you to see in your imagination, I want you to see those hands. I want you to feel those magnets pulling those hands. They're attracting magnets. Feel those magnets pulling those hands closer and closer and closer. And the closer they get, the stronger the magnetic pull is. And they continue to pull tighter and tighter and tighter, closer and closer and closer. In a minute, they're going to pull so tightly, so close that those hands are actually going to touch. And when those hands touch, you just tell me, my hands are touching. A strong, strong magnetic pull. It is pulling tighter and tighter and tighter until your hands are literally touching one another.
Touching.
Are they touching? How did you do?
I'm touching.
Okay, you're touching.
Yeah.
Now, this is an interesting observation here. Julianne?
Mine aren't touching. I'm trying. They keep pushing back out.
No, this is interesting. Some people will have the opposite.
Mine's going the other way.
No. Karen's done the same thing. I will try to say usually attracting magnets. They're attracting magnets. But some people, when they think of magnets, think of 2 magnets coming together and then pushing each other away. And Karen has done the same thing. So in fact, you're exhibiting the same type of response. But if in your mind, you've always envisioned magnets as pushing away, and that would be the exception. Most people, when they think magnets, will think of the attracting.
Can I open my eyes and untouch?
Yes, you go.
Oh,
just open your eyes, look at your hand. Yeah. I'm
my,
sorry.
my shoulders are starting to hurt.
I think she's asleep. Could somebody wake her up?
That was crazy because I felt the
Yes.
like they were trying to push apart, but then
You
all of a sudden they
really-
touched. That was weird.
Yeah,
Now,
that's weird.
the thing is that is something that we call a suggestibility test for those individuals where the hands tend to move fairly quickly and consistently until they touch. Other people will be like Juliana. You said you felt the opposite thing, but there will be people whose hands just stay like that, you know.
Wow.
And so, what this would suggest is that Joelle's going to be probably
Joelle's going to be the chicken.
the better. Yeah. Now we don't.
No, I'm kidding. I know it's much deeper than that.
We don't in hypnosis now. That's one of those things from days gone by. And hypnosis is not something. Three things about hypnosis I want to share with you, if I may. Three most common questions I get. Am I asleep in hypnosis? No, you're not asleep. You're totally aware of everything that's going on around you, everything that's being said. Okay. But we use the word sleep in hypnosis because people associate that with it. And number two, often people get so relaxed, their heads drop forward onto their chest or off to the side onto somebody sitting next to them. Number two, can I get stuck in hypnosis? No, you cannot get stuck in hypnosis. Virtually impossible. If I hypnotized you right now and I left in a few minutes, you'd just get bored and you'd wake up and you'd go on about your business because you're not getting any stimulation for me in terms of giving you suggestions or something. Third thing, can you make me do something I wouldn't ordinarily do? Give up a secret, anything that I wouldn't be willing to do right now, sitting where you're sitting. No, you cannot do that. You cannot make anybody say or do anything against their fundamental moral or ethical beliefs. And of course, as I've heard some individuals say in the opening, so if you have no moral beliefs, I'd love to have you come up and join me here on the stage. And well, sorry for some of the different variety types of shows.
Now, does it work for stopping smoking or overeating, things like that?
Yes,
like that's real.
Yes, it can be very helpful.
Okay.
It's used in a number of realms. It's used in things for addictions, overeating, pain control, a variety of things where somebody's put into by a hypnotherapist. Really, this is not going to be the same individual who's doing shows on stage usually, or they may do both, but they're hypnotherapists, and so they really study the methods and techniques used to do that. But yes, and here's the reason why they work. Our habits, our emotions, all of these things are embedded in one's subconscious mind. You make a conscious desire not to eat that second piece of cake, and yet you walk over and you pick up that second piece of cake and you eat it. Okay. So it really, if there's ever a struggle between the conscious mind and the subconscious mind will always wins out. And so it's a matter of trying to get into the subconscious mind, to try and shut down the conscious mind for a moment and get into the subconscious mind. And that's where you want to leave suggestions to people that over time will help them conquer an addiction.
Nice. And then if you're skeptical about it as the recipient, does it work less well?
That's a great question. Excellent question. If you don't want to be hypnotized, you won't be.
Yeah. Okay.
If you're skeptical about it and I can't reassure you, then you will, and I don't go into a long explanation of it. There are two people who are going to resist. One is that just want to resist because they just want to say, he's not going to hypnotize me. Okay. Now that's like you sitting in your chair right there. And I say, Joelle, can I help you out of your chair? And you go, I'll be damned if I'm getting out of this chair. I'm going to show him I'm not getting out. So there's nothing really I can do at that point. If you want to get out of the chair, I can assist you. So you have to want to be hypnotized to be hypnotized. And you may be resistant for other reasons. There may be a deeper seated fear of hypnosis from the movies and all. Hypnosis is not mind control. Okay. Hypnosis is not something I do to you. It's something I bring out of you. I'm simply like a guide that brings this hypnosis out of you, helps put you into a hypnotic state. But hypnosis is something that the ability to be in hypnosis is something that is within you. It's
Wow.
not something I do to you. Okay.
Yeah,
So
got it.
Jim, why are you interested in mentalism in this field? Is it from, because you have kind of a scientific background and medicine background more, would you say more than, I just want to know what drew you to mentalism. I'll leave it at that.
Say that again. You just want to know what motivates me to be
What
good?
fascinates you? Yes. What is it? Is there something that you want to learn from it? Is it fun?
No, the mentalism
What
is
is it?
purely for entertainment. Hypnosis, on the other hand, is real, and again can be used in a variety of ways. I'm not a hypnotherapist, but it can be used in a variety of ways, as I just mentioned. And so it fascinates me how so much of our intake, and I can't give you exact figures, but really just a minute amount of what we take in is taken in by the conscious mind. About 98% or something. If this is wrong, somebody can correct me, but the vast majority of the information we take in goes directly into the subconscious mind. Now it's kind of filtered, but it ends up in the subconscious mind. All of our memories, again, our emotions, our habits, all of those things are things that come from subconscious mind. I'll give you an example. You get on a bike today. You're how old? Oh no, you can't say. Okay. But you get on a bike and you start riding, and you're kind of a little wobbly, at first, and then you pick it right up. Your ability to get back on that bike, you may not have ridden a bike in 25 years. Your ability to get on that bike and ride it now, that is the type of information, just one, that's been embedded in your subconscious mind. Think about driving. You drive today and it's like, oh my God. When you started learning, I mean, oh my God. You got the switch, the ignition, you've got the switch for the gears, you've got the steering wheel, you've got the camera, you've got the mirror, you've got windows, side windows and things. All of these things in your mind. And think how it was when you first learned to drive. Now today you get in a car and you turn on the key, you're on autopilot.
Yeah.
You just go, you just drive. You can be in heavy traffic, but you're still aware of lights, all of these things going on around you. That again is something that is become so deeply embedded in your subconscious mind that you now do it without even having to think about it.
I love it.
So that's so much of our motivation in life, our emotions, our habits are really dwell, if you will, in the subconscious mind, not in the conscious mind. The conscious mind is nice for analytical things. You're reading something and you've got to follow along. And by the way, if you've ever done that, you've gotten to the end of the page and you go, I have no idea what I just read.
Yeah.
Now that's when
Jim.
You slip into the hypnotic, sort of a hypnotic trance of sorts.
Mm-hmm.
You're reading, but you're really somewhere else here in your subconscious mind.
That happens all the time. And I wonder if people with ADD, does that have any relation to this? Who knows? Now I'm bringing in a whole new subject, but.
Well, no, it's okay. I mean, it's a valid question. I am not qualified to answer that because I don't know enough about the ADD and the processes that.
What I am taking though now is I'm taking classes in mindfulness. I'm taking a couple psychology classes, and it's all about being mindful in the present moment and trying to get out of that wandering mind and bringing it back. And it's one of the hardest things to do.
The monkey mind, yes, as the Buddhists call it. Monkey mind. Sure.
Yeah. Anyway.
Where you've got all these thoughts just floating and constantly in some past and regrets and I should have done this or that. And then it's the future. Oh, what if?
Mm-hmm.
It's an inability to stay in the present moment. And interestingly, the brain waves of people who have meditated a lot are not dissimilar from individuals who are hypnotized.
So
you kind of get this thing of the from the movies, of course, this hypnotized person just kind of
zombie.
They're just very profoundly relaxed is what somebody in hypnosis is, and yet very aware.
That's amazing.
But it's interesting to me, the similarities between mindfulness practices, meditation, and the state one is in when you're in hypnosis. So it's all about focusing and bringing it down. It's about stillness. It's about letting go. They will say so often, philosopher Ram Dass once said about try to compare mindfulness to sitting on the edge of a stream and watching your thoughts just float by on that stream. Just let them go, let them float by, but you stay just focused and relaxed, and you just allow those. You may notice them, or you come back to your breathing, or you come back to, she's out.
Don't do this while you're driving, folks. Pull over if you're listening to this podcast. Just kidding.
But anyway, so no, there's an interesting correlation between, or similarities, I guess I should say, between mindfulness, meditation.
Can I tell you, Jem, quickly, my favorite quote from Joelle yesterday, because she was very, very busy. I said, do you want to take a few deep breaths right now with me and you could relax? She goes, I don't have time to breathe. I have to go.
I've been trying to get off the phone for 5 minutes. I'm like, I have to go.
So for people who don't have time to breathe, what would you say, Jem?
I would say take the time to pick up a good book on mindfulness, meditation.
Yeah.
I think it is one of the, our culture is designed for productivity, and it's designed to make us feel, if we were to just sit and meditate for a while, in a sense, you almost feel guilty. It's like, my God, I'm not being productive. You've got all these ideas and things are racing around in your head,
Yeah.
And the thing is, you're ultimately actually more competent to live your life if you're able to stay in the present moment.
Yeah, I'm sure. Let those monkey brain thoughts wash down the stream.
Just let them go.
And then you can come back and focus on what you need to do.
There's always that thing with meditation too, constantly trying to come back to your breathing. And if you actually try it, because I have, and I am not a phenomenal meditator, I need to do it more often, more regularly. But I have noticed and discovered, as many people do, how quickly your mind will go to something else while you're simply trying to focus on your breath.
Yeah, and I heard someone on a TED Talk, I had to watch it for class, and she was saying kind mindfulness, because what we often do is beat ourselves up for not meditating correctly. And, there I go again. There I go, trying to get back to the breath. I'm such an asshole. I can't do this. So kind mindfulness.
I've heard other people say that about you. Go ahead.
Yeah, wait a second.
I hate the way she meditates. Ugh.
Oh, she's such an asshole. But anyway.
But you see, that's part of the self-denigrating part of those thoughts that we have, but they're just thoughts. It's not the reality. And you do want to be kind to yourself, because it does, I don't want to say take effort. That's not the right word, because that identifies too much with the productivity. I've got to be doing something. But you do have to be able to allow yourself to simply realize that your mind has wandered and come back to focus on your breathing. The one thing nice, and there are a lot of different types of meditation. I like the one where you simply focus on your breath, because you can do it anywhere. And it is a very simple way to come back to that present moment, is to just follow your breath.
Absolutely.
Joelle's already falling asleep. I could
tell. No, I love it.
Just from your voice, Jim, you have such a wonderful, calm voice. You're actually living this meditative life.
We might do a spin-off.
Hearing you.
Spin-off insomnia podcast, and we could tell stories. Jim, will you be a storyteller for us too?
Oh, I'd love to.
Oh,
sure.
good. Okay.
Yeah, they're not.
All right, Jim, sorry.
No, go ahead.
I just want to honor your time. Are you able to, do you need to get going?
In a little bit, I do it. Yeah, in a few minutes.
Okay.
I will. If there's anything else that you can think of, I'm happy to.
I'm curious about, so what about FBI using psychics? I'm going back to the psychic thing. So there's nothing to it. I mean, I know the coincidence, and there's another emotion out there, another sense, sorry, sixth sense. But are there any real psychics out there?
Do I believe that there are people who will have a sixth sense, like a friend of mine's mother, or when you aren't expecting that phone call and the phone rings and it's the person that you thought of, but there's no reason for them to call. I think these things that, like Julianne was saying, synchronicity, I think these things occur, but in fact, I don't want to paint with a broad brush here, but I would say I don't believe in psychics per se. To me, they can represent is a way to generate money. That's why I say mine it's done for entertainment. That doesn't mean I won't charge for a show. These people know that. But it's entertainment. It is not. I think a lot of people have been built out of a lot of money because they want so desperately to believe. For example, somebody passed away, and they want so desperately to feel that connection again. And you will have individuals who say, "Oh yes, your father or your whatever relationship is they're feeling very calm right now. They can see you and envision you." And I will tell you, some of the greatest mentalists in the world, I don't know if you're familiar with a gentleman named Darren Brown, one of the best, Luke Germain. I tend to know them more because I do mentalism. The great Randy, you remember hearing that name? Was it Great Randy? Something like that. Anyway, they have.
He debunks everything, right?
That's
exactly. Didn't the great Randy?
Right. That's exactly right. And he's had psychics come in, and it is very apparent when he does these. And I can't think of all the things he'll do to debunk it. Have pictures, and he'll mix the pictures up and then say, "Okay, you tell me which is this the tree? Is this the whatever?" Whatever.
He debunks.
Okay. Yeah, and they cannot do it, and so no, I don't believe in it. I do believe in cold reading. I do believe in the ability. There are courses you can take. Google courses in cold reading. You can take courses in cold reading, and to sort of begin to master some of these effects of picking up on other people's emotional state.
I wonder, Jim, I used to say that I was psychic. I would go to a bar or a party and I would say, "Okay, have a couple drinks and say, get loose," and then go, "Okay, I'm going to guess who you are," and pick a random person. And then I would try to read them and say, "You love the band Van Halen and you have issues with your girlfriend." What I realized is I was probably cold reading, but thinking I was psychic.
You were.
Just by looking at their shoes, their jeans.
Yeah, and to say something, yes.
But
and to say something like, "I'll bet you have issues with your girlfriend." Well, who doesn't? At that point. But to say that you like Van Halen. But I really
thought that I was.
No, but look at it, and you were. Because look at it, you get an impression. If I walked up to you with a suit and tie on, you would not go, "Yeah, you're a Van Halen guy." You know what I mean? But the way this guy's dressed, the way he's acting, maybe the way his hair is cut, beard or not, whatever.
His Pink Floyd t-shirt, yeah.
But we form impressions.
His Van Halen t-shirt.
We form impressions, and not always are they incorrect. Based on, you could probably get a lineup of guys and say, "Yeah, you're the Van Halen guy, you're the Metallica guy," and on and on. So
Which is basically kind of just stereotyping and
in
using
a
all of our
sense,
experiences
yeah,
to
in a
set someone up.
sense.
Yeah.
That's how you start with it, and then it can be more creative if they give you, just drop a little clue here or there and you say something vague. I'll give you an example. I went to hear a guy who was a psychic. He's quite famous, he's quite wealthy, I might add. I won't mention any names again, but he asked the group, and the woman said, oh, my son, he died in a horrific situation, and that's all. So he looks at her and he does this. If you can see me, he grabs his head and he said, oh, I'm just getting something like this. And he shakes his head real violently. Now, what he's already discerned is this is a young person, probably in their 20s. He knows it was a fairly, what's the word I'm looking for? Aggressive type of violent, thank you, type of death. And he's a young guy. So what are we thinking? Maybe car accident, something like that. And he said, but anyway, just in shaking his head, she goes, oh yes, my God, that's what happened. He was in a car accident and he, whatever, and went on from there. But he's very vaguely saying, just shaking his head, like grabbing it. Like it's something that is, he can see. Well, what he's just doing is kind of confirming and deducting from what she said. He's a young guy. It's a violent death. Now, it could have been something else, and then he would take off in that direction, depending on what she said.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of predatory behavior in psychic treatment.
Sure. Taking advantage.
There are no real psychics.
Yes.
Okay.
That's
but honestly, the FBI.
It's a very good word to use. Now,
them.
this is an opinion of mine that yes, you can have individuals who primary goal is to generate money. And this individual does this for a living. And trust me, he's one of the top tier folks that does this, and he is living very, very well. And all because of his holding, so-and-so is going to be here to hold a seminar.
Yeah.
Now, Joelle had a question. That's what I was saying. So the FBI, sorry, go ahead.
Well, the FBI employs psychics. So how can that be?
Is there any?
I'm not, and I've thought of that. I know police occasionally will as well in the FBI. And I understand that. And again, I don't want to paint with such a broad brush as to eliminate the possibility of some people, for whatever reason, having a little bit more of an intuitive sense about something, or potentially even, I don't know, want to say seeing something or visualizing something. But these are not the people. They're going to be few and far between.
Yeah. Okay.
And
because I remember Edgar Casey was an example of someone. Do you know that guy that he fell, I believe, when he was a kid, apparently hurt, he got a concussion, and then after that was able to have more of a psychic connection to people, apparently. And then people who've had near-death experiences, a lot of them report that they're more connected to psychic intuition. They can predict
that may
more.
be the case.
Could be a brain thing.
Yeah, potentially. I don't know enough about it organically from a scientific standpoint to know that. And I don't, how can I say this? I don't always need, if you're a scientist, you need science to validate what you're saying. But I can sit back and go, there's a part of me that thinks that this is possible and that we simply have not been able to, the brain, we haven't been able to discern from on an organic standpoint. And a scientist has to be able to do it scientifically, or everything becomes snake oil. So,
Yeah.
but the things you mentioned about the FBI, this friend of mine, their daughter, some of these
Yeah.
other things, just expecting a phone call. Yeah, there's probably a little something else going on there.
I like
And
it.
so when I do the mentalism, again, that's entertainment. But I like the idea that it kind of gets people thinking a little bit outside the realm of strictly scientific, intuitive feelings that they may get about something. And frequently they say, and it's not always true, but often is to follow your intuition. If you get a certain sense about an individual or their motivation for you, I would kind of trust your intuition.
I like it because there's a lot of nonverbal communication happening, which is why maybe some people are more attuned to reading others too, but we are picking up, and pheromones and things that are just body language and chemicals and senses. And so maybe
that's it.
And you know what I remember? Very good. Jim, I remember a guy named Brian Greene who was trying to speak about superstring or string theory and quantum mechanics. And he was trying to explain it as when we had predatory animals as humans, we had the saber-toothed tiger and woolly mammoths or something else was preying on humans. I don't know how an elephant does, but he was saying we had a sixth sense like animals would have. So in this other like fourth dimension, we're in a 3-dimensional universe. And there was this other sixth sense part that we used to have to be honed into, which is where like microwaves exist and things that we don't see. And it might've been where we would pick up that ability to run away from the thing preying on us. So we have it, but we haven't had to use it in a long time.
Sure.
Any comments?
Exactly. Well, it's even if you look at something as simple as time, the concept of time. Our concept of time is there you go. Beautiful watch, by the way. Our concept of time is very linear, but it's been proven that Einstein said time is an illusion. Albeit a serious one, a convincing one. But, you even get somebody who travels beyond the speed of light and then if they were to in fact come back and they now have a brother who's 5 years older.
My brother,
and that's like hard to comprehend, but that's the reality of quantum mechanics, quantum physics.
And those are twins, right, Jim?
What's that?
Twin brothers.
You'd be twin brothers, and one of them's going to be 5 years older than the other. I mean, it's just an application of. It's all about the frame of reference that we're using. And
Jim, you are amazing. Sorry, we have Mom waiting in our little waiting room on Zoom.
Please
bring her in.
So I want to
bring her in.
Where is she?
But before
bring her in, Joe.
I will.
Do I have to go, or do I get to see her?
No, you get to stay.
We'll all stay. I just wanted to let Jim.
And if I do just go, I just want to see Joyce. And go ahead.
No, Jim, tell people too, if they're interested in finding out more about you and potentially booking you, because you do a lot of shows and corporate events, things like that. Where should people go?
Well, they can just go to, if they so choose. I didn't do this, as you know, as a promotional thing, but it's www.jimeggold.com.
That's right.
And it's called Mysteries of the Mind, and is what I've titled the show. It's just for fun, and again, this is an entertainment only.
Yes, but it is wild, and it will get your crowd talking.
Enjoy it.
It will make it the party of the year if you get.
I can't tell you, people are still talking about it to this day. And Jim, I love how humble you are, but I'm going to promote that. We're going to take out everything that said anything that made it sound less than amazing, because you are amazing. You're top notch.
And he even worked his famous son into the act, right? The pictures of the stars. Do you want to say who your famous son is? Our cousin.
Well, if anybody's had the opportunity, they should put me in a bind here.
You don't have to
my son was here, he'd say, "Don't say a word."
Okay. We have a PR thing.
He plays a physician on New Amsterdam. the
That's
hospital drama on NBC, and which was recently chosen, I might add, by the Hollywood Critics Association for the best drama on
Yay.
Prime time?
on the broadcast television.
Oh my
Yay.
What they've
gosh.
done, they've separated now, finally, as they should, broadcast from
Network.
streaming.
Oh,
Because there's no comparison, because you're allowed to do so much on a streaming venue than you can do in broadcast, because you'll be aware of, whatever. I gotta let your mom get on here.
no, look,
That's
But
great.
anyway,
my mom-
So
Congratulations.
I say that as a proud
Ryan.
mom, a proud father. If I will tell you, if Ryan was here, he'd say, "Dad, shut your mouth." Don't listen to her. Okay.
you know what? You guys are too humble though. It's
I
so
know.
cute. I just love it because you got mom finally figured out what happened.
Mom's here.
I had to upgrade and
Now you're
Yay.
here.
We're all here. Say hi to
see,
Jim.
she-
We can't get his video working, but Uncle Jim's
Yeah, I
here.
can't get the video.
hello, James.
Hello, how are you?
I just saw your picture with Ryan.
How was that? Which one was that?
I don't know. You guys were sitting, it looked like at a basketball game or something.
I'm not sure.
I'll
There's all
send
sorts
it.
of stuff floating around. You never
I
never
know.
know. With the social media, you don't know what you're going to see where.
I'm just
It's
glad that
scary.
you know that you're still alive and everything is working. And
Yeah.
hi.
Well, listen, I'm going to let you guys chat.
All
You
right.
talk. I will go. If I can figure out how to turn this off. See, I can do this phenomenal mentalism. And I
Oh,
can't turn off my Zoom.
Jim, thank you so much for giving us all that great information and your opinions. And I love
hope
that
you enjoyed it.
the whole realm, everything about it. So
Good.
you're
Jim,
amazing.
you're so cool. Can we just tell you you're so cool?
That's right.
You're the coolest.
Oh, that's very
That's it.
sweet of you.
We
and
call
we
you
love you
cool
so
Uncle
much.
Jim.
And you know how I
Yeah.
feel about my nieces. You know that.
Yay.
So this is going to be a rough follow-up, man.
No, are you kidding? You're going to surpass me by light years. Just wait till I hear you start talking, Joyce. It's going to be unbelievable.
I don't-
All right. So, and if you hear clicking noises, that's me trying to figure out how to turn off my Zoom.
You can
You
hang
guys
out.
just-
You can
you
stay.
guys just go
whatever you
ahead
wanna
there.
do. We
Bye-bye.
He
love
just
you,
doesn't want
Jim.
to. Yes,
I'll see.
we love you.
Tell Karen hi and Nicole
I
and
will
Ryan.
love you guys too, and we'll talk again.
All right. Bye.
Love you, Jim. Okay, Mom. We really are going to hear some clicking noises. Hi, Mom. I love Jim. He's still there.
Click, click. Mom, look at you. You're all prettied up on a Saturday.
yeah, I was repairing a fence before
Mom's
a lot
pissed.
of time.
Mom, you're
Oh.
pissed off. What
Uh-oh.
happened?
I'll get
Because
over
we're
it.
late.
By let's see, an hour and a half. Yeah,
No.
no, it's Saturday. I just have a
She
lot.
has a lot to do. She doesn't have time to breathe. We just talked about psychics and mentalism, and we wanted to get your recent psychic story. So for those of you that don't know, Mom lives in Idaho.
Wait a
Yeah.
second.
So we're on Zoom. What?
Wait, because I know that
Oh.
Mom's really mad. Can we
Okay.
take this moment to say the reason was only had, Jem said he had to go, and we only had 10 minutes to quick call him up and get on, but it went longer than 10 minutes. As
Because
I
he's
thought
an
it was really
Eggold.
only 10 minutes. So we said, let's call Mom right after 10 minutes. And then that didn't happen. But I also talked to you before and you said you were just sweeping. And I said, do your thing because we're disorganized and not sure what's happening.
Right. My floor is very clean.
Sorry, Mom.
Sorry, Mom. You just just be pissed off. What happened? Are
fine.
you?
I'm
Okay.
fine. I'm fine.
It's when time isn't
Um,
respected. We get it. I'm sorry.
Denny is going to be in the door here in a minute and I'm going to have to leave. So I'll make my story fast. He went down to a big, huge horse thing and he won $1,130.
Wow.
Whoa, are you
Wow.
serious?
Yeah.
Ow.
He's happy.
He's
Well,
a
he
working
won.
cowboy.
Yeah. He won the competition. So yeah.
That's amazing.
Anyway.
With a recently surgerized knee and
7
everything. So
weeks. Pretty
Wow.
impressive. Yeah.
very impressive.
Okay, so anyway, I'm not pissed. I was just, trying to cram everything in on my day off. That's all.
I
You
get
know
you.
how.
I'm
right?
I'm of your blood. I had a similar morning.
They
Right.
just talked about that, Jim and Joelle, about, remember I told you Joelle the other day said, I don't have time to breathe.
Right.
You feel that way too? Yes, you did, Joe.
I know I did, but can I tell you what it was? It was 5 minutes of me trying to say goodbye. And then right when we were about to say goodbye, she said, let's stop and breathe for a while. And I was like, I gotta go. So
I would like to also say that's not true, because you had just spent 10 minutes telling me how busy you were, but it was a 10-minute list of you saying, and then I have to do this, and I have to get 100 pumpkins, and then I have to do this, and then I have to do that. And also I have to, and I said, do you want to, you had just ranted yourself into you wanting to hang up.
You just drove mom to drink. Did you see that? Mom, are you having a whiskey?
Mom wanted to drink an hour and a half ago because you were late, Joelle.
All right.
Admit it.
Oh, welcome.
You blame your other half. This is the one you had on your birthday.
Carter drama. All right. Hi, Mom.
Hi.
Thanks for being here for us.
You're
We wanted to, did you hear our last episode? We talked about how you recently went to a party where there was a psychic and you had a wild reading, and we wanted to hear it firsthand.
Okay.
Now, can I
Do you
ask
want
you
me to
something really
set
quick?
it up, how it all came to pass? Yes.
Well, I want to ask you, first of all, how did you go into these parties and psychics in general? Because we met with Patty Negri, that's our previous episode,
Right.
and you believe you're there.
I totally expect miraculous stuff to happen. Totally.
And me too, until Uncle Jim just debunked some stuff. So now I'm spinning a little bit, but
no, totally. I'll tell you, this morning I had a plumbing issue, so I'd take apart the plumbing, and I was talking to my dad, and I go, "This is no fun. This is the one job I'd never want to."
Her dad has passed on too, for people who don't know.
He's over on the other side. And I take it all apart and I'm pouring out the water, and out comes my diamond earring that I lost 7 years ago.
What?
Wow.
And I go, okay, this is cool. Thanks, Dad. Totally. I mean, I had just talked to him. 2 minutes.
That's cool.
Yeah. So no, don't listen to anything Uncle Jim has to say. No, they're just right there. So
see, anyway. I think that too. I feel like we can call on our loved ones and they're around, but maybe we are just hoping. Anyway, I want to hear.
Can I tell you my theory real fast?
Yes.
Real fast is whatever makes you happy.
That's it. Joy.
That's right.
Whatever works for you. If it works too, I remember wondering what God was, and I said, what if God's Kermit the Frog? And then I started thinking maybe I could pray to Kermit the Frog because it felt more comfortable. And so I did the whole time I was in New York. Anyway.
That's cute.
Done.
You're so cute. I remember that shirt, Julianne. I think I gave it to you.
Thank you. You give me all my clothes, and at some point I'm going to be an adult and shop for myself.
Very cute on you.
Can I take this moment to plug our new t-shirts?
Oh, cute.
Hey!
It says real nice.
Very cute.
And then wait, on the back. Hold on.
Let's see, little Humpty. It's hard to see, Joe. What does it say?
Just Mouse and Weens. What are we called? Mouse and Weens podcast.
I like it.
We have a whole bunch of designs on mouseandweens.com/store. So
yeah, I think that company we were with was not great before.
Oh, don't say that. No one's gonna buy it now. No, they have good t-shirts.
No, I'm saying this now is good.
It's
this
the
new
company.
Okay, take that out. I'm sorry. I'm gonna stop talking.
Edit. No, so go to mouseandweens.com/store and they're cute. It says real nice, which is like we're real nice, but then real nice.
I love it. I'll get one.
Okay.
And they better than the old socks did.
There you go. Yeah. All right. So Mama, sorry. Let's hear it. Let's hear the big party story.
Okay. So I went to a birthday party. This random lady came who was a neighbor of a neighbor, blah, blah, blah. Very low key, but she had sparkles in her hair.
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
Did she know you were going to be there?
No, there were 20 of us, and she was invited as the entertainment for the night, but she did not know me,
She
nor
didn't know the guest list.
No, she was just kind of hanging out, was 2 doors down from my friend. And ended up, she mentioned to my friend, she was a psychic. The psychic, my friend, she's all about witches and Halloween. So she goes, would you come to my birthday party? So this lady goes, sure, okay. So she's there. She looks very typical neighborhood, nice, affable woman, but she had glitter in her hair. So I said to her, oh, you have glitter in your hair. And she goes, I'm the good witch. And I go, oh, you're our entertainment. And she goes, yeah. So we ate Mexican food, all of us. And then we went in, they divided the group in half. There were 10 of us at the table at a time. And she's just real low key, easygoing, has a little piece of paper in front of her, and she starts drawing. And she draws a little cartoon airplane with a propeller on it. And it's going downhill. And she said, oh, she goes, this is not a good way to start the party. But I see this airplane and somebody has had something go on in an airplane. It was not good. And my other friend says, oh my God, my brother just died in a plane crash.
Whoa.
And it was a propeller plane.
And that's what she drew.
Gets up, she holds my friend, she says, I'm so sorry, sometimes this stuff just comes up. And she said, oh, let me think, his name is Kenneth. And my friend goes, oh my God, we called him Kenny.
Wow.
So that began the party. And every single thing from then on was applicable to every single person at the table.
Now, could she have read in the paper that this guy died and his name was Kenny?
No, it had been 4 or 5 years ago.
And she had no idea. And she couldn't have looked her up on
No.
social media. I'm just saying this to be the other side of it, because that's what Jim was just talking about.
She didn't know any of us. She had just moved to this area from Minnesota. So no, she didn't know. She had very few friends here in the Valley. She just knew this neighbor.
Okay.
Who invited her.
Wow.
So she's just kind of going, thinking and drawing on her little pad, and she's bounced around different people at the table. And then she goes, oh, this makes me want to sit up straight. She goes, a very pretty Southern woman in a hat is really stepping forward. She really, really, really wants to be at this party. And backing up, Joelle, you had asked me to go through some old pictures to look for the Datsun that your dad drove. Yeah. So I had been going through some old pictures, and I saw Grandma and Grandpa in there, and how cute, and it conjured up memories. Okay, so she goes, this woman, she's in a hat. And I go, is it like a straw hat? And she goes, yeah. And it's matching another hat. And she kind of says it like that. And I go, oh my gosh. For years, my mom and I, every Sunday morning, would put on matching hats, like in the color. They wouldn't necessarily be exactly the same shape, but they were straw hats in Tucson, going to church with our matching hats. Aww. And she goes, oh, that's definitely what she's saying. And then she put her 2 fingers to her temple and she goes, the Vivian. And out of the blue, she pulled that out. I had never said her name. I said nothing about her. And I'm just like, how did you do that? She goes, oh, she's very, very much in the front. And she wants people to know that. Aww. And she wants, and I remember one of the other psychics we saw that Grandma Carter wants you to know about her. So this is just, as I thought about it later, I thought, okay, that's just one more way that she's letting you know that she's a strong woman, that she can push through the veil and talk to people.
Nice.
And I love that.
Yeah. And didn't she
So-
say something about she loves being with you or something like that?
She said to this psychic that night, she appreciates always being included in everything that I do. So I always am talking to her constantly.
That's
So
so cool.
that was
Aw.
like overwhelmingly cool.
And how do you get the name Vivian? I mean, that's a rare name. That is out of the ether. So that's got to be confirmation.
Well, just even out of 52, how many letters are in the alphabet?
Yeah, 26.
Okay.
34.
Doubled.
So,
Capital, lowercase, 56.
yeah. Okay. Yeah. It's such a random letter.
Yeah.
You would
Yeah.
think Susie or Kathy or Anne or something like that.
Right.
But just, and she pondered it. You watched her lips and she's going, Vivian.
Wow.
So even, I mean,
Abel just went crazy because she had nailed every single person.
Wow.
And really humble about it. Very saying, you know, I've done this since I was a little kid, and I decided, you know, put it out there because it might just help somebody. Really humble.
That's, yeah, that
No.
reminds me of Patty too. She was saying the same thing. She's always had this gift and kind of
Right.
turned it into this thing. Weens, do you
wow.
believe? Where are you on the skeptic belief scale?
I am so influenced by whoever is immediately in front of me. That's what I realize about myself. Here's really what I think I'm finding taking all these classes is that I really do like to back things up with some science. So I love the possibility, like Jim was saying, he's very open to the idea that it's possible. And then you would want to do tests to confirm it. So I kind of like that. But the thing is, like, I've listened to probably over 1,000 near-death experience videos and things that, I don't know, I feel like I'm pretty attuned to when people are acting, when there's bullshittery happening. But when you hear someone and they're so passionate about their story, and like, I know that they think that they saw something, so I do have faith that there is something out there and that certain people can tap into it. Some are more attuned to it than others. Maybe we all have that ability and we're blocking it. I think we do. I think we all have some psychic ability, but we have to get out of our heads. Some have it more than others.
You know, most religions are based on faith. If you really ask each and every scholar in the religious arena, they usually say it's about faith. And I think that applies to what you think about the afterlife or people who've passed on before you. I think it's just, yeah, I assume, and I know 2 people that have passed over and come back, and I know their personal stories and how they told me about it. And there was no reason for them to like fluff it up on my behalf. And so
we just interviewed Steve Peters,
right?
Who we just interviewed, who has the movie out, who was anyway.
Jim and Tammy Faye Baker fame.
Yeah,
pastor.
But he died 4 or 5 times total, and he told us about his experience. Like, there's too many people that we know that this has happened to, so something's going on, and it's unexplainable. But
there's something out there.
Science will confirm it at some point. It's just catching up to it,
right?
I think.
Right. See, and then we bring in the aliens, and you know, our species is so far behind alien species. They've already got this all figured out, and we're little tiny babies learning all this stuff, right? We all believe all this, right?
We don't implode before we figure it out.
We're gonna set our earth on fire first, and viral fires. Mom, you're
Yes.
amazing. I think that you are very attuned to that and have always been connected.
Well,
and
I
sense
honestly,
things.
I want to live this life in a joyful place. And to me, that's just another way of adding joy.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, to think that you don't have to fear death, that there's a whole nother plane that is waiting for us. And I've heard just really positive things about it. So to me, it just adds that one more layer.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Happiness and joy and excitement and thrill. And yeah, of
I
course,
love
I get thrilled when I see a rose blooming. So
it.
But that's where
thrilled.
this is where it's at. This is what you've arrived at, a place where you're really enjoying life. And that's great. However you do it, doesn't really matter what we believe, right?
That's right.
Right.
Whatever
Joy.
works.
Joy. One of the key ingredients in a
Where
good
are
life.
you at, my sister, in your beliefs?
I believe that there is a sixth sense. And like you said, that we probably all have it, and some can tap into it right away, and some it's squelched, it's way down deep in there. And I think there are some charlatans that have the ability to read people and use human psychology to manipulate and make some money off people. And
Sociopaths.
a blend of all of the above. So I kind of think it's all in there, a smattering of everything. But I am so curious about the near-death experiences. We should maybe bring on an expert in that who's really done a lot of research. Jules, you have for sure.
That's your sister. We call her the professor.
Yeah, but even to get someone in her field who can speak to it from a scientific study standpoint and like with the brain chemicals and what's
There's
going
a
on.
great doctor. Remember the doctor who died and came back and now she speaks?
Yes.
She was a super atheist doctor lady who had
Nancy
a near-death experience.
Something, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So that would be so neat
Anyway,
to try to
next
find that.
show.
But we'll see. Yeah. I want to dig in deeper. I love it. Mom, you're the best. You're the
You look
sweetest.
beautiful.
And grandma and grandpa sitting on each of your shoulders. They look wonderful too.
I love it. And I just had to tell you, just the propeller story. I just needed to add this one more thing. So the lady was feeling badly because, you know, her brother and all that. And she goes, wait, I just want to let you know that Kenny is standing next to an older woman. And she goes, her name's Elizabeth. And my friend and her granddaughter are sitting there and they go, oh, that's not what we called her. Oh no, the psychic goes, her name is Elizabeth, but that's not how people knew her. And the granddaughter goes, that's my grandma who just passed away and we called her Betty.
Aw, see?
So, see, this is kind of like, how would she know that?
Right. More confirmation.
I'm just a really big advocate of expect miracles and they happen. Expect incredible journeys at a little round table because they happen.
I love it.
They have happened in your life, right? I mean, life works out for you, Mom.
Over and over. I just really think it's wonderful. And look at you two. You two are miracles.
We're living the dream.
I am.
Yes.
Yes, you're brilliant, you're innovative, you're thoughtful, you're like the best.
Thanks, Mom. You're our number
Thanks,
one
Mom.
fan. I'm going to send you a shirt.
Started out with a pissy attitude, but you know.
Okay. Would you like a shirt or a water bottle?
Give her a shirt. She waited an hour and a half for you, Joel.
I will give you a shirt and a water bottle. I'll roll it up and
God,
pack it
I'll
up.
buy them. I'm a patron. I can buy.
Okay, that's right. Patreon.com/Mouse and Weens, everybody. You can get bonus material, free swag. Check us out on @Mouse and Weens everywhere on social media. And please write in. We want to know, where do you stand with this whole psychic skeptic? How much do you believe? I really want to hear what people think. I put a poll out there. We'll see if people write back. But
okay.
Yeah. Give us some stories. I love all the psychic stories. How come it's true? How come it's not? All
Let us know.
right.
We love you.
Love you too. And thanks for putting up with me.
Mom.
Thanks for putting up with her.
Yeah, putting up with our waiting room. I'm sorry.
She was
It was
sitting in the
really Uncle
waiting
Jim's
room?
fault. Let's put it on Uncle Jim's.
No, we love Uncle
No,
Jim.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding. He came on at the last second, which is so nice. No, both of you guys, thank you for being willing participants. We love
You're
you. We love our
welcome.
family. Dead and alive. Whoop, whoop. All right.
Yep.
Bye.
High five.
Bye. See ya.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.